Hey everyone, it's Taylorverse, and welcome back to Pottermore! Today we're doing What is the Significance of Harry's Weirdest Dreams? Dreams are rarely normal, but when you're Harry Potter, they can be a nightmare. Oh, Hedwig. Although we as readers were able to follow Harry's adventures closely, understanding his thoughts and actions, it was his dreams throughout the books that gave us a deeper understanding of what was going on in his head. He was, for example, often haunted by nightmares of the deaths in his life, from Cedric to recurring ones about his own parents, and sometimes his dreams were not actually dreams at all, but his mind being infiltrated by Lord Voldemort. Suffice to say, there was a lot going on up there. We've analyzed some of Harry's oddest ones, although we've left the Voldemort-influenced dreams for another day. A good one, with a flying motorbike. Right at the beginning of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Even before Harry knew he was a wizard, the magic in his life had already started seeping into his subconscious. During one morning at the Dursleys, Harry awoke in his cupboard from a good dream about a flying motorbike, one he felt like he'd had before. To be fair, he kind of had, except it had been real. A memory from when Hagrid first took him to the Dursleys as a baby on Sirius Black's enchanted motorbike. No wonder he had told Vernon about the dream. His uncle's reaction was more unreasonably outraged than usual. He must have been terrified. There was magic on Harry's mind. Professor Quirrell's talking turban. On Harry's first night at Hogwarts, after being introduced to so many impossibly magical things in such a short space of time, he had a particularly weird dream. It connected quite a few important elements that shaped his first year: meeting Professor Quirrell, his rivalry with Draco Malfoy, his anxiety over the Sorting Hat, his uneasiness around Professor Snape, and a familiar burst of green light, the latter of which would haunt Harry for a long, long time. The events of his dream presented a distorted version of Harry's reality, all fused together by his insecurities of the time. First, there was Professor Quirrell, who Harry didn't really know yet, in particular the involvement of his strange turban. In the dream, the turban took on the role of the Sorting Hat, who Harry had just only met the same day of his dream. The fact that his dream combined his fears of being sorted into Slytherin with Quirrell's turban which would eventually be revealed to be concealing Lord Voldemort, is quite interesting. The fact that Malfoy, his new school rival, was laughing at him and then turned into Snape, who he had not yet met, was also rather telling. In his mind, Harry had merged the two main bullies in his life, even though he didn't know yet. The conclusion of the flash of green light connected everything back to Lord Voldemort. In essence, his dream combined the typical schoolboy fears of not fitting in, worries about bullies, and an overarching dread of evil drawing near. Okay, maybe that last one isn't a typical schoolboy fear. The Forest Dream. Fucking excerpts. Harry's third year was defined by Sirius Black and the Dementors, the latter of whom affected him badly. After going through some of Anti-Dementor lessons with Professor Lupin, Harry finally got to use the Patronus charm on 3 Dementors who'd come to interrupt his Quidditch game. As it turned out, it was only Malfoy and his cronies playing a trick, but it was still the first time he had successfully cast his Patronus, even if he was too busy catching the snitch to notice what form it took. That night, he dreamt of following something silvery white, and he heard the sound of hooves. Even though Harry did not know his Patronus was a stag yet, his dream was his first clue. The fact that Harry couldn't catch up to the stag could mean a few things. The fact he had been struggling to cast the Patronus charm, or maybe even this unconscious fretfulness of never knowing his father who the stag could be representing. You never know. The Grimmauld Place dream. Although the latter part of this dream was Voldemort invading Harry's thoughts, the rest was based on his first night at Grimmauld Place, where Hermione and Ron were made prefects and Harry witnessed poor Miss Weasley's boggart, which took shape of all of her loved ones dead. After initially being jealous of Ron and Hermione's elevated status, seen here as them wearing crowns, Harry's jealousy was put into perspective when he saw the things that troubled Molly. The suspicious presence of Creature in the house also inhabited this dream. Harry was right to have this worrisome house elf on his mind. Cho and the Chocolate Frogs. When he wasn't worried about Lord Voldemort, Harry was just a teenage boy at heart. During his relationship with Cho in Order of the Phoenix, his short-lived romance was overshadowed by her ex-boyfriend's death. We can see those concerns in this dream, with the chocolate frog cards representing Harry's worth versus Cedric's worth. Harry was clearly worried he couldn't live up to a dead man's legacy. The other many troubles of Harry's 5th year, such as Professor Umbridge always stifling him and his secret DA lessons, seemed to congeal into abstract disarray. Poor Dobby. The Horcrux dream. In Deathly Hallows, Harry's hunt to track down Voldemort's Horcruxes took over his entire life and seeped into his subconscious as a result. This particular dream saw Albus Dumbledore offer Harry a ladder into the Horcruxes, which then turned into snakes. At this point in the story, Harry had lost trust for his deceased headmaster, due to finding out things about Dumbledore's past that the old wizard never divulged. The latter must represent the help Dumbledore tried to give Harry, and the snakes must represent the betrayal Harry felt at this point in the story. Clever. Oh, and this one? What? I guess we'll have to read the excerpt. Damn it. He dreamed that Neville and Professor Sprout were waltzing around the room of requirement while Professor McGonagall played the bagpipes. He watched them happily for a while and then decided to go find the other members of the DA from Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Okay, we have no idea about this one. Maybe sometimes dreams don't mean much. I forgot about that one. Okay, that was fucking great. Okay. That was great. I forgot about that. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. If you like what I do, then subscribe. It's free. Everything's better when it's free. And then ring that bell to be notified when I upload. If you have any suggestions, then leave them in a comment down below. and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.